Hey there, friends and family. Welcome to Monica May's One Take Live. Please do us a favor and help us spread the word. You can tap like and you can click the share button to invite your family and friends and followers to be a part of our conversation. One Take Live streams live to Facebook. YouTube as well, and we're on Spotify. I'm always so happy to say that. You know, one of my favorite pastimes is sitting with a glass of wine. Yes, I can say I should have probably said an adult beverage, but I also like coffee or tea. But I've got to have a good book in my hand. I like to sit outside or on the couch here in my studio, and I like to read. I've always liked to read. My grandmother instilled that in me, and my mother kept it going. A good book, flipping the pages. Oh, it feels so good. And when I'm walking, I've got a book that I'm listening to on Audible. The favorite place that I like to travel to also is the library, and our Orange County libraries offer so much more than just books. They just celebrated their 100th anniversary last year, and today, our Orange County Library Director and CEO, Steve Powell, is with us. How you doing, Steve?
I'm doing well, Monica, and thank you for having me on today.
Listen, I've got my tiara. That's indicative of like a celebration. So I always feel like I'm celebrating whenever I see you. But I want to salute you guys for all that you do in our community libraries. National Library Week is one of the things we'll be talking about. That is coming up April 7th through the 13th. So let's start there and talk about that. What do you have planned for us?
What do we have planned for Library Week? Well, we'll have a huge library card drive on so that we can, get more people to sign up to use our services. I think one of the things that people don't understand is the vast array of resources that we offer to the community for free. All you need to do is be a resident of the Orange County Library District, come in and see us. You can apply online. We have an online form that you can fill out, and we'll send you your library card and a number through email so that you can get started using our services. That'll be the biggest thing that we kick off that week. We'll end that week with an author with Lauren Groff and the Rotary Club, sponsored by the Rotary Club at the Southwest branch for our Southwest Author Series. So that'll be a big deal to wrap up that week.
So what are some of the authors who you have coming in?
The only author we have coming in that we've announced right now is Lauren Groff.
Okay.
We've had some big deals over the last year, though. We had R.L. Stine in last year at our Orlando Book Festival, and we had Art Spiegelman in conversation, Neil Gaiman in conversation with Art Spiegelman at the Steinmetz Hall in November to wrap up our 100-year celebration.
All right. So that was nice to get off of the confines of the library, the four walls there, and go over to the Steinmetz at the Dr. Phillips Performing Arts Center. So what was that like? How was that celebration?
That was incredible. We'd never explored really going off site to try and do a big event like that. But we figured if we're going to wrap up 100 years, we're gonna do it right.
Do it in a big way.
We had 1,600 tickets available, and that show was sold out a month in advance. So it was a really big deal for us. We feel like we brought the right author and his companion into the community, and the community showed up for us. So it was a really unique event. It was a really big deal. And if you haven't been in Steinmetz, I'm sure you have. It is an incredible venue to have an event at.
It is an incredible venue. When I think about the library, Steve, I think about where we are now in terms of technology. Does that mean that the numbers who walk through the doors, has that dwindled at all? Have you felt that?
So yes, I would say that if we just looked at door count, is what librarians call it, it has certainly declined. The pandemic had a huge part in that because people transitioned to using their library differently. So we look at door count, but it's not our biggest metric. The way that people use the library now through technology, for example, digital usage, we circulate almost 10,000 digital items per day, and that's almost twice what we circulate in physical items per day. So the library, although door count is down, the number of library users is up.
I do know one thing. It was some Gen Zers who hipped me to the fact that you know that you can get your books the same way. You don't have to buy them through whatever means you are on your social apps. You can borrow books. And so it was the Gen Z pop that gave me the fact that I could do that, because I was in that library after the pandemic. I mean, I'm just exchanging books and doing it physically. One of my libraries that I go to is the same one that I get to vote in, and that's here on Hiawassee. And that's something else. We thank you all for opening up your doors for more. Like I said in the opening, you all are more than just books. One thing that I have to talk about is the elephant in the room with our governor's push to purge Black history. What is that and the effect? How has that affected the library? Are you able to keep certain books? Because there is a laundry list of books that are on this purge list.
Yeah, so challenged books is a big deal, and certainly in Florida, it's made a lot of headlines. The fortunate thing for us is that the state doesn't. We don't get a lot of funding from the state, and I don't want to diminish the fact that $800,000 of grant funding a year isn't a lot of money. It is, but the public library is the outlet for everybody. I think the school system, because teachers have to act in lieu of the parent. At the library, we don't do that. Parents have to make the choice here. So we haven't seen the push to our challenged book collection the same as, say, the school district has, which is very fortunate, because we really need to have that stuff available for the community.
Thank you. I needed for our community to hear the library director and CEO say that. This is Steve Powell we're talking with, and it's very important that you understand that Black books mean our history, and we have to save that. And that's so important that we understand those books are still available for us. What are some other things? I say that it's more than just books there at the Orange County Library. What else do you offer? I know the Melrose, my Gen Z, my granddaughter pops in there for your classes all the time. She's learned a lot too.
Yeah. So before I jump into your Melrose question, I would like to wrap up sort of your last question with something that we do have every year. We have an African American read-in every year during Black History Month, and several people from around the community come in. We had almost 200 people at that event this year on a cold, rainy day. So it's a big deal for us to sponsor events like that, a cultural event. So to answer this next question, cultural events are a big deal. Yes, the Technology Center in Melrose, fantastic. Audio studio, video studio, photography studio. We have added some new things to the Melrose Center. We've transitioned our simulator lab to simulation and game design. We also have sound booths. We had 2 small sound booths. If you want to record a podcast or do other things, we now have a small ADA accessible sound booth and a larger sound booth where you can get 3 or 4 or 5 people in the same room to do work where you need a quiet audio space. We've also added a stage in the Melrose Center where we now can teach all the aspects of show production, live video, live audio, just all aspects of show production. It's a really big deal. It's come a long way. The Melrose Center continues to evolve to meet the needs of the community. We got a lot of feedback there where people wanted to learn how to do improv and learn how to do theater. So the stages come in handy for several different reasons.
And when we talk about the Melrose location, that is downtown. Is there a fee to use some of these services? What do you have to do? Is it just for your library card? Is it a one-time fee? What is it?
So if you want to be a member of the Melrose Center, you come in with your Orange County Library card, and all those services are free. If you're out of district, there are different fees for studio rental time, but there is a Melrose fee for anybody, a Melrose card for anybody outside the district who wants to use it. For Orange County Library District holders, though, it's one quick video about what the rules and regulations are in there. And then we provide you resources to bring you through from basically you have an interest to being proficient in using a camera or a video camera or a huge soundboard in our audio studio. Some of these have 4 or 5 different classes as a part of their tracks. And we've had people come in that said, hey, I'm interested in learning how to take pictures. And 2 years later, they're walking out, they're making videos in our video studio. So we're willing to take anybody who's got an interest and develop, build their skill level.
Mm-hmm. So the people who come in to teach some of these classes, where are they coming from?
They come out of they're experts in the field. And a lot of these folks don't, they have their side gigs, their side hustle is audio studio. They work they do video production for other folks, but we hire experts in the field down there. And, we need that expertise to bring people. When people use the Melrose Center, we want them to get the experience, whether they're in our studio or someone else's studio. And if they're looking to build job skills, they would build skills that are relevant in the field today, not something that is past.
Mm-hmm. Is there an age cap? Like, how old do you have to be able to get into some of these classes, these workshops?
The minimum age in Melrose is over 15. You got to be 15 or older. For the audio studio and some of the places where we have more expensive equipment, we ask that a parent or guardian is always present with someone who's younger than 18.
Mm-hmm.
Over
Mm-hmm.
18, if you're 18 or older, you can use all of those services with your library card. But we do have family makerspace day on the weekend where families can come in and use 3D printers and use all that software. And we've got a laser cutter and we've got different printers in there where you can print out pictures that you've taken with your family, all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we do all age groups down there, but because of the expense of the equipment, we really 18. If you're between 15 and 18, we like to have somebody present with them.
Okay. All right. And that's fair enough. And again, the Melrose location that he's referring to is our library downtown. That's what you can find there. What I also love about the library is that there are other services that are offered over at the Hiawassee, in the Pine Hills area. There's other services. Can we talk about what some of those services are, Steve?
Well, you talk about the Hiawassee branch, and we'll talk about, English classes for speakers of other languages. That branch particularly, we can't get enough chairs in the room over there for people who want to learn how to speak English. We've got a fantastic technology trainer over there. And I say technology trainer because he's fluent in Haitian Creole as well as English. So he brings folks in for technology classes that he can teach in different languages, but his classes for English are just off the charts. And he actually volunteered to change his schedule so he could work on the weekend so he could have even more people come in because he was finding out that a lot of people were working during the week. So we've got a couple different branches that are really pockets in the community that, language classes are a very big deal, and they do really well virtually. So that's another thing that you can, if you don't have time to come to one of the locations, we've got these language classes available virtually. Also on that side of town, little known fact about our West Oaks branch in Ocoee is our genealogy center. We've got one of the most fantastic genealogy collections in the Southeast United States that people can walk in right off the street and use.
And when you say genealogy, what would that entail? So we'll make it clear for our audience.
So we've got a lot of books that people can search. We have a genealogy specialist. We have a librarian there that specializes in genealogy. And she also teaches all of the genealogy databases. So you can do online searching. She has classes so you can meld together searching online and then maybe finding those physical items in our collection. So if you want to learn about your family history, our West Oaks branch is the place to stop at.
I love it. How many libraries are within the Orange County system, Steve?
We have 15 locations right now, and we have 2 locations that we're getting ready. One is getting ready to break ground, and the other one is in design. So soon to be 17 locations and a bookmobile. We've got a bookmobile on order that we're hoping to have within the next 2 years.
Okay. All right. So is there a website we can go to find out these locations that are nearest to us? What website would we use?
So our web address is ocls.info, And from there are tabs across the top of that screen for locations and hours, different resources, like books, movies, and more, or learning and research, classes and events. We try and make it as easy as possible from that homepage to find all of the different resources that we have.
So now is when I was going to ask you about the African American read-in that we had last month, because we did an amazing tribute to Zora Neale Hurston at the downtown library, or the Melrose location. And I was bowled over because it was so many people present, but it was very diverse in the way it was presented. Did you have anything to do with that, Steve?
Well, no, I'll be transparent. I'm not an event planner. We all have our specialty tracks here at the Orange County Library System, and mine is not event planning. I think one of the things that we've really capitalized on is we had a couple years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, we had Ray Chesney, who is a Zora Neale Hurston scholar, come to our Eatonville branch, and it was a very successful weekend there. So the branch manager at Eatonville thought, we need a bigger venue. We need to really highlight how we can do Zora Neale Hurston this year. And that's why that was moved downtown. So, the best events are the ones where my hands are off. I prefer to let the experts do their work and run with it. And, they do a great job. We've got a wonderful staff of people at all levels doing all different things. And sometimes it's best to just stay out of the way.
One of the things, as the director of the library and CEO, tell me about your trajectory, Steve, because it's not every day that someone walks into that type of a job. So tell me about that.
Well, I don't want to steal those words from you, but I sort of just kind of happened to be in the right place at the right time. I did sort of walk into the job. So I started at the Orange County Library System 16 and a half years ago in the Facilities and Operations Department. And I was fortunate enough to report directly to the comptroller. And he challenged me from the day I walked in the door about not just how to improve facilities, how to not have interruptions to library services because of facilities, but to understand library services and what those interruptions meant. And, over that 10-year period, I learned a lot about the library from a sort of behind the scene view. I was fortunate enough to be in the candidate pool to be the COO in 2018. And, I was promoted into that position, and I worked very closely with Marianne Hodell, during her last two years here. And she, took me under her wing, and I learned a lot more about what goes on in this office than I thought I knew. I thought I knew what went on in here, but the board was gracious enough to extend, an opportunity to me to be the library director. And it's more than just one person. It's about, I have a team of people here that work really well together as a leadership team. And, sometimes it's just about how to best corral that energy and effort to do what's best for the community. And, I say it I say I got lucky. I use the word lucky a lot, but, hard work, perseverance and stuff like that really pays off. And there's no telling where you might end up at the Orange County Library System. You could start off in facilities and end up the director. You could start off in shelving and end up as a branch administrator. You just never know where that trajectory might take you.
There are people who have just a natural, general love for books, and the library is still in vogue. And I just really wanted to have you on to just share that. The library doors are still open. You heard him. He's breaking ground on the 17th one, and there is an additional one being built right here in Orange County. Steve Powell is the library director and CEO of the Orange County Library System. Now, last year, they celebrated their 100th anniversary. So 101 years and still looking good. That's very novel. That's very novel. And I had my tiara on in the beginning, but I took it off. But you still can see it. It is a way to celebrate you all and all that you have brought into the Orange County Public Library System. One of the libraries that's closest to us is right off of Kirkman. and I always see a stream of folks in and out. And that's a good thing. That is a good thing, because the reminder here is that we may not always feel the most comfortable or welcome. And I will say that the Orange County Library System does make you feel that way. The one that I go to the most is over here in Hiawassee. I've gone to other branches and I still feel that way. I also noticed down at the downtown library, because we have a lot of our homeless brothers and sisters there, there is no nose turn up to them being welcome either. How do you maintain that?
Well, we're a public service that is free to all. And if you don't come to work here with that attitude that you're going to deal with the full spectrum of the population, we're probably not that place for you to be working. There's no telling who you'll run into in the course of a day here, and we have to provide not just great customer service. Everybody who walks through our door is a customer. We say the customer is our hero. The customer is at the center of everything we do. And some of those challenges that we've tried to overcome with customers is, how do we put things in place that they need? For example, social workers. 5 years ago, we started with some grant funded social workers. Today, we have 4 social workers that are OCLS employees. And that just takes pressure off of people. There's a lot of, it's always the battle you don't know somebody's having today. How do we get people to overcome those battles and provide the things that they need? Sure, if it's just a place where you come in and fill your water bottle and want to sit and read, fantastic. We're willing to do that. We provide seating at every location to be able to do that. We just have to understand that, empathy is the big deal. When new employees start here, I ask them to be one thing: be kind. And that's not just to your peers, but to anybody who you might encounter in the course of your day. So, it's a full-on effort. Some days are better than others, but, we have to be mindful as leadership to support, give employees the resources they need as well, because they have challenging days. But, we're in public service. We're the space that's free to all. We've got a lot of things that benefit a lot of different people. So that's our goal.
Okay. Now, again, before we wrap, let's talk a little bit more about National Library Week and what we can look forward to, and how we can embrace that. If you don't already have your library card, now would be a good time to do that. And Steve, tell us what, again, you all are doing to make sure that people come inside and just realize that the library still has doors open for us.
So, one of the things I think people think of the library, they think of us as, the old dusty book place. We're not that. The other thing that people think about are all the overdue fines that they might have had in the course of their lifetime. We don't do that anymore. We stopped doing overdue fines in October of 2022. So you don't have to worry about, life happens. So if you sign something out and it's back a day or two late, no big deal. If you have stuff out and you don't know if your library card is active or not, we want you to come back during National Library Week or any week. We know there's customers out there that still have block cards that we really want to have a conversation with, because the library has changed. We've tried to lower bars for a lot of people. We have a card that we give to group homes where the manager signs off and everybody in the group home can use the card. We use the Farm Workers Association ID card as proof of residency in Orange County. So we've tried to be as welcoming as possible by lowering barriers to service, is what we call it. That's our technical term. But we just want to be a more friendly neighbor in the community to everybody. So hopefully some of these things will bring people in. Yes, National Library Week is a big deal, but every week's National Library Week for us. We want people using the great library that they have in Orange County. One of the great libraries in Orange County.
Yes. A couple of weeks ago, we had the clerk of the court, Tiffany Moore Russell, on, and she said, well, Operation Greenlight is this week, this date. She said, but I really need you all to realize that anytime you want to get your license back instated, please stop through. So this is just the week that you all are promoting, April 7th through the 13th for National Library Week. But we welcome you to walk through the doors to your local library and just renew your life again. There's so many places you can travel to if you pick up a book. There's so much you can learn just by reading something outside of what your norm is. And even if you aren't the best reader in the world, there are ways that you can learn there, especially over at the Hiawassee branch. English as a, I guess a traditional language would be one way to put it, but there are teachers there. There are people that are waiting with open arms to be able to teach you and help you go to the next step. What could we do to encourage parents in the last few minutes, Steve, to bring their children back to the library?
Well, one of the things that we have coming up is Summer at Your Library. Kicks off on June 1st, and it is focused mainly on school age kids, all ages, but we don't want the summer slide to happen for anybody.
Yeah.
So we do reading contests for different age groups, including adults, so they can participate as well. But we have a lot of programming, a lot of performers, a lot of things going on all summer long. And I would encourage parents to, keep their eye out for upcoming registrations for things and other things that we've got going on, because we're hoping for an extremely busy summer. We're hoping for our biggest summer yet.
And then they also point out that the library is right on your phone as well, because you can take books out and you can read them, you can listen to them audibly, and there's different ways. And let me tell you something. It's just like if you think the book is going to be overdue, they give you prompts that tell you you've read maybe 5 hours on this book. You have about another 15 hours. They break it down for you. And then they give you the warning. If your book is due in 2 weeks, they let you know. And then if your book is like getting ready to be overdue, they don't let that happen. The book will be snatched off of your audio phone. So don't even worry about it. Don't worry about those late fees anymore. Again, the CEO and library director of the Orange County Library System, National Library Week is April 7th through the 13th. That would be a great time to bring your family down. And with the summer coming, don't let your kids not pick up a book. That summer slide is the great divide, especially when it comes to them starting into the next year. Make sure you utilize what's right there for you. It's free. It's never been easier to pick up a library card. And I would encourage you to just bring your kids back, especially take them on a field trip, maybe even to the downtown library, and see all that they have to offer. Again, if we have left anything out, we want to put up the website again. You can always reach out to Steve, and he's got a wonderful team that surrounds him at all 15 now branches, soon to be 17. So you can give them a call at 407-835-7323. You got something outstanding? Give them a call, talk about it. Steve, thank you so much for being on One Take Live with us.
Thank you very much. It was a great opportunity. It was nice talking to you, Monica.
Thank you. And I'm inviting our audience to please, again, help us spread the word. Tap like and click the share button to invite your family, friends, and followers to be a part of our conversation. One Take Live streams live to Facebook, YouTube, and I'm so happy to say we're now on Spotify. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Mm-hmm.